if you're going to be a coach, I think you should have some training on the mental side of the game, because that is so much more important than a lot of the physical sides. I mean, you can have this super talented athlete, but if they just mentally aren't there, they will never perform for you, and they will never perform for themselves.
Whether you live northeast, west, or south, the best fast pitch info comes from the coach's mouth. Welcome to the From the Coach's Mouth podcast with your hosts, Jay Bolden and Ken Kraus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the From the Coach's Mouth podcast. This is Ken Kraus, here as always with the man who can turn the world on with a smile, Mr. Jay Bolden. Jay, how are you today?
Oh, Ken, I'm great. I'm smiling just for you. So I hope that it's been turned on for you, buddy. No, things are going great, man. You know, got some family time in with the family, did some fun things with the wife and kids. And summer is slowly, or actually quickly, coming to an end, and things are good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. We had the grandkids over for a couple of days, and that was fun. Two of them anyway, two grandsons. And the first night they decided not to sleep. So if they don't sleep, nobody sleeps.
Yeah,
but they came back, and the parents came and picked them up, and everything was cool. So. Yeah,
that's the best part of being a grandparent, right? You can get rid of them, drop them, take them out, get rid of them, pass them back over to their parents. We're the same way here. Nobody sleeps in this household, then no one sleeps at all. So if the kids are up or whatever, we're in the same boat. So I feel you on the sleep deprived nights for sure from time to time. Not so much anymore, but it used to be very sleep deprived.
Yep. Yeah. My wife asked, how did we do this when we had 4 kids? And I said, we were a lot younger then.
Yeah. Had a lot more energy back then too, for sure. For sure.
Yep. Yeah. So now it's, after all of that, I was just going out to the garden. I'm trying to revive some stuff that when we were on vacation got a little bit dried out, but it's hanging in there. So,
yeah, my wife actually went, she goes camping with my mother-in-law. And while she was gone, she's like, you better water my garden. So there I was, man, all last week watering that thing. The kids are taking pictures and videos of me watering it, sending it to her. So we didn't get anything dried out. I was out there religiously for her. And so, got to keep the wife happy.
Kind of like a proof of life video, huh?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
You have to hold up the newspaper.
Yeah, yes. So, all right, enough of us rambling. This could go forever. We have a great guest today, Ken. Give people some information about this amazing guest.
All righty. Well, Jay and I are really excited to have today's guest on because she's not only a great pitching coach and college coach, she's also a lot of fun, as well as being a great personal friend of both of ours. After a stellar high school career at West Vigo High School in West Terre Haute, Indiana, East Vigo, where she was a 4-time all-conference selection and holds multiple all-time pitching and hitting records, our guest went on to play a semester at St. Mary of the Woods College before a brutal shoulder injury ended her career much too early. More on that in a bit. She then transferred to Middle Tennessee State University in Nashville, where she earned her bachelor's degree in psychology with minors in nutrition and health and human performance. She has also completed a year of graduate study in clinical mental health and counseling at Grand Canyon University in Phoenix. After several years of coaching travel ball, our guest took a position as the volunteer assistant and pitching coach back at St. Mary of the Woods College. And after a year there, she was named head coach for the Pomeroys. She is now entering her 3rd year at the helm. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm From the Coach's Mouth welcome to our good friend and owner of Furrey Fast Pitch LLC, Gina Furrey Buhse.
Well, thank you, Ken and Jay. I'm really, really excited to be here. I know we've talked softball for many, many years now, and I'm excited to talk a whole lot more about it. So,
yeah, welcome, Coach.
Yeah, welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Well, I'm excited to be here.
Good. Well, I think we're going to start this the way we often start our interviews, and that's just to ask you how you got involved in softball to begin with.
Well, I think like a lot of people, my parents were trying to figure out what I was interested in. So they threw me in T-ball when I was 5. And funny story about that is my very first season, I actually broke my arm at my own birthday party on my birthday, roller skating, and had a nice cast all the way up to my shoulder. And I have many pictures of me playing T-ball with that cast because I loved it so much after the first practice that nothing was going to stop me from getting to practice into games. So it started out with T-ball and kind of evolved from there. You know, I went 8U, 10U, 12U, did the rec ball thing. Travel ball wasn't as big when I played, so I didn't actually get involved in the travel ball world until much older, much later. But that's kind of how I got into it. My parents were just throwing me in different stuff, and that one stuck.
Well, that's good.
So Gina, where did the pitching part, where did you get drawn in by that? How did you get into the pitching aspect of when you were playing?
So while I was at that rec league, there was a pitcher there. Her name was Gina. And everybody was terrified of this girl. I think this was 10U, if I remember right. I mean, this girl threw really hard. She struck everybody out. She was just a stud. Everybody knew this girl's name. She stood out. And I remember I just wanted to be like her. So I just started going back in my backyard and started pitching and asking my dad to pitch. And I taught myself and worked on it for a couple years. And at that point, my parents are like, okay, man, she's actually serious about this. So maybe we need to get her involved with whatever the next steps were. You know, neither one of my parents are really involved with sports heavily when they were kids. So they didn't really know what the next steps were and what to do. So they kind of asked around. And funny enough, my first pitching coach was a pitcher at St. Mary of the Woods College, which is where I coach now. So that's how I started kind of getting into pitching. But I remember Jana, I still remember her, and I still attribute my start to her because I wanted to be just like her as a kid.
So Jana, if you're listening and you recognize Gina maybe a little bit or recognize the story, congratulations that you did a good thing there.
For sure.
You mentioned T-ball. You said your folks threw you into a lot of things. Was there anything else that you were doing, you know, as kind of like a multi-sport athlete?
Well, throughout the years, I was always involved with something. I was always involved in things even more than sports. But if we're just talking sports, I started softball around 5. I believe I started karate in 2nd grade. And fun fact, I have a black belt in karate. So I started that as well.
What style?
You know, that's a great question. I don't know.
Doesn't really matter. You can kick our butts no matter which style it is.
That's a true statement.
I was in that for many, many years. I loved it. I sparred. I went to some competitions. I stuck it out for many, many years. I honestly don't remember when I stopped going, but it was a long time. So I also did that. That's a fun fact. I think I started basketball when I was in 4th or 5th grade, did that all the way through high school, or at least halfway through high school. I started volleyball in 6th grade, did it through 9th or 10th grade. I also did field hockey in college. So I threw that in there at some point. And even worse, don't tell my college girls because they'll make fun of me, but I was on the college dance team for a year.
Nice. Nice.
So I'm always doing something with sports. I mean, if somebody gave me an opportunity, I did it. I mean, I wanted to do soccer. I wanted to be a thrower in track. And finally, my parents just stepped in and were like, please stop. Like, we have no life. Please, no more sports. So that's, I was a very much so multi-sport athlete.
And then what else did you do? I mean, you mentioned something, you know, it sounded like things outside of sports.
Yes. So I was involved with, I'm trying to think of everything. I was a huge reader. So I was always doing stuff like the library and reading groups and those types of things. I did the spelling bee almost every year and spell bowl team. I committed to being a good speller because I humiliated myself one time and I was down to the final 3 or 4 or something like that. And I got really lucky and got the word Wednesday. And I was so pumped that I got an easy word. So I just whipped it out. I was like, W-E-N. And if you know anything about spelling bowl, once you say a letter, you can't take it back. So I eliminated myself on the word Wednesday. And so I was committed to showing that I could actually spell. So I stuck with that for a really long time. So I did that. I played violin from 5th grade all the way into the 2nd year of college. So I actually really love doing that. So that took up a lot of my time as well. I was in Key Club. I did weightlifting in high school. There was many other things, but those are the ones that I can remember. So I was always involved. If there was something to do, I was doing it.
Sounds like all that stuff prepared you for the idea of being a head coach at college because you just had every minute of the day taken up.
Yes, that's for sure. I don't think I know what free time is or what to do with myself on the rare occasion that I do have it, because I'm always filling my day, and that definitely prepared me well.
Yeah, no free time as a head coach. No free time as a head coach for sure. So, Gina, I want to ask you though, because Ken had mentioned something that you played a semester at college and then you stopped. Like, why did you stop?
Well, injury. So I believe, now I can't confirm this, but I believe that I tore my labrum probably my sophomore or at latest junior year of high school. I remember, back when I played, which isn't really that long ago, I'm 34, but back when I played, the rumor was, if you're a softball pitcher, you can pitch endless amount of innings. It's gentle on the body. It's a natural movement. So you're never going to get hurt.
Still a lot of people that believe that, unfortunately.
Sadly, yes. And I see a lot of girls still paying the price for that mindset. But that was the true mindset when I started getting into travel ball. And every single team pretty much had one, maybe two pitchers if you're lucky. And so from age, I started pitching probably around 10. I think I was actually closer to 11 when I actually started getting into more like lessons and being a little bit more competitive with it. But from ages probably 11 to 19, I pitched almost every single weekend for travel ball, rec ball. There'd be times I'd be doing rec ball, travel ball, and high school ball at the same time. And I'd pitch all of those leagues in 1 week. And my travel ball teams, I think there was only a couple where there was more than just myself as the pitching staff. So, it was tough to be the only pitcher, because if you had a bad weekend, which we all do, there was no working out of it. You just had to deal with it and figure it out. And if I was hurt or if I was in pain, it didn't matter. I just had to figure it out. And so I was very much so a team player, and I kept my mouth shut for a very long time about my shoulder hurting, because I didn't want to seem weak or seem like I was letting my team down. That was the big thing. I didn't want to let my team down because I was the only pitcher, or one of two maybe. But I'd say my sophomore year, they were taping me up everywhere to try to keep my shoulder, in place. And I was going to the trainers for hour and a half sometimes before I'd even go to practice or go to games, then have to do it afterwards. I was just a big tape job, basically. And by the time I made it to college, my arm was done. I guarantee you it was absolutely shredded by the time I started college. And then once I got to college, I was in my fall season, my very first fall season at St. Mary of the Woods College, where I currently coach. And I remember I was in the middle of a game pitching, and I threw a pitch and my whole arm just ripped out of socket. I threw a pitch, arm was dangling, grabbed the arm and looked at the dugout and was like, I'm done. And that's one of the few times I have ever said I'm done. So I just stopped the game. They took me out. I didn't play another inning the rest of the fall. So I didn't even get to finish my fall season. At that point, I had gone to the doctor to see what was wrong with it. I went to a shoulder specialist over in Indy, and he's like, ooh, this MRI, it's pretty bad. He's like, it's torn pretty bad. And he's like, you're going to have surgery on it. But at that point, I didn't want to have surgery because I didn't want to face the fact that my career was over. So I didn't get surgery for a couple years. And then when I did get surgery, the surgeon told me it was one of the worst shoulders he had ever seen, because he had imagined it had been years of me just pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's still, he did his best, but my shoulder can only do so much. So It is a lifelong injury that I'm now having to deal with.
So it kind of, in there, if you take a look, it kind of looks like a chicken bone inside of a bunch of roast beef, huh?
Pretty much. Yeah, it is. Praise that surgeon, because I don't know how he made it as good as it is today. So, but I just remember him saying it was the worst shoulder he's ever seen. And this man's worked on the Indianapolis Colts and the Pacers and, all kinds of athletes of different backgrounds. And he was just, it was terrible. So he said, good luck to you in your future.
Wow. Wow. That's pretty brutal. Well, and I think that certainly points out something that we talk about, and I'm probably going to get Jay all excited here now. He's going to go on the rant, but yeah, pitchers, you have to speak up, and you can't just be afraid to say something about it. It's and coaches, you got to be careful of that with your kids too. It's not invulnerable. You can hurt that shoulder really, really bad if you just let kids overpitch like that.
Yeah, I think you had torn labrum, you said, Gina, right?
Yes.
I mean, the things, and I think we'll get into this a little bit as we get a little bit more into this podcast, but the things that walk through my door are already injured. It's crazy, right? Like rotator cuff, right? Rotator cuff, ulnar nerve injuries, labrums, all those things are things that when they walk in the door, it's like, wow, like we need to be careful with what we're doing here, and I get some of them like post operation or post diagnosis of what's going on. And that's the scary thing. I think, that we need to make sure that mechanically we're teaching the right things to these kids that are helping them move correctly and the way their body's supposed to move. But things like that, those red flags that you talked about as a player, I think are huge. As coaches, we have to definitely make sure that we step back and say, okay, I made a post about this, I think a couple of weeks ago, and I think you guys probably saw it, was that I saw somebody online saying that the only time we should make a mechanical change is if the data then supports that the ball flight is better. And I firmly disagree with that, because we need to make mechanical changes sometimes to prevent injuries, because all that ball flight data, it doesn't make a difference when the kid can't throw a ball. And so, yeah, no, I Ken got me fired up on this one. We'll dig into this more. I know as we go through, we talk about like how your mechanics were when you were throwing, but yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think we as coaches need to step back and really say, is this something that's going to help these kids continue their careers safely and efficiently and effectively? And I think both of you agree with that.
I absolutely agree. And, as a coach now, I get a different view. And when you have a competitive athlete like I was, who wants to win, who wants to be the best I could possibly be, I mean, even when I wasn't pitching in games, I was practicing. So it was, a 6-7 day a week thing for me for multiple years. You as a coach need to be able to look at the kid and be like, okay, you're overdoing it. And you have to make them stop sometimes. You have to make them take breaks, because they're not going to do it on their own. So that's, you have to take a role in that responsibility of that as a coach by teaching them the right mechanics that best fits how their body moves. And you have to pitch or coach the mental side because of those things. So, I mean, I attribute my injury to overuse, improper mechanics, and probably my own self overworking myself. And that's why I have a whole host of injuries now as an adult, because I still haven't figured out how to back off. So it's just how it is. So.
You're always finding new ways to hurt yourself.
Oh yeah. I am so broken. I have 2 torn Achilles right now as we speak. So I just can't figure out how to stop hurting myself. So.
But yeah, I think what you said there is important. I have this girl, Hayden, that she just came back from whatever nationals they went to, and she, it was all week long, and she pitched a lot and, did a lot of stuff. And I was texting with her mom a little bit and, just kind of talking about what was going on and all that. And I said, let's cancel Monday's lesson. Let's give her a break. Let's just, not do anything. And then we can see from there. But, she wasn't hurting. There wasn't any problem or anything, but I just thought she did a lot. It was hot. There were a lot of games that went on. And so you just have to be smart about it, I guess.
Yep.
Longevity is the key. I mean, you're taking that away if you just keep pounding over and over and over again. Recovery is so huge, and there's not enough of it, especially with how travel ball is set up nowadays. I mean, even as a college coach, I'm struggling to find time to set up recruitment camps, because all these summer tournaments are 5 days long, back to back to back to back. So, I can't get kids to come to the camp because they're in their 17th tournament of the summer, and that's 4 or 5 days long. I mean, it has expanded so much longer. There's no downtime. At least when I played, there were times where like volleyball season or basketball season, it wouldn't be as heavy and I wouldn't be pitching as competitively or in games. So yes, I still practicing, but I'd get somewhat of a break. Now there is 0 break. So all I foresee is more and more and more injuries. So
yep.
Yes, for sure. After all of that happened, you ended up transferring to Middle Tennessee State University. It looks like you were going to say something.
Yes. So my story is actually kind of weird. I tell my story all the time to my players because I like to use myself as an example of what not to do. So I try to give them some good life advice, right?
Sometimes your purpose in life is to be an object lesson for other people. Okay.
Right. And I definitely have plenty of examples. So, I went to St. Mary's, and looking back at it, I kick myself every stinking day because I had basically a full ride to St. Mary's between academics, sports, and everything I had. I lived 2 minutes from St. Mary's, so I could literally just get in my car. I could honestly jog there if I wanted to. It was so close. But I had basically a full ride. And actually, I didn't go to MTSU next. I actually made a really stupid decision and followed a boy. And I went to Trine University up in Angola, Indiana, which, if you don't know about Trine, they're a phenomenal softball program up there. They're usually D3 national champions or runners up. I think they were runner up this year. They're a phenomenal softball program. He does a great job. But I didn't go up there for softball. I still hadn't had my surgery yet because, remember, I was still in denial that softball was over for me. But I ended softball, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go follow this boyfriend that I had at the time. And that's where he went. So I made the dumb decision to go up there. Now, I don't ultimately regret the decision because I loved my time at Trine. Trine is an amazing school. I made a lot of long-lasting friends up there. That's where I played field hockey. It was an amazing experience. I just randomly was approached by the coach one day and was like, hey, you look like an athlete. Do you want to play field hockey? And I was like, I don't know anything about this sport. So sure, why not? So I played a year of field hockey when I was there, joined a sorority, got to play in the orchestra, lots of cool things. But I didn't play softball. At one point, I thought I was going to reignite this thing. So I did go talk to the coach, but then I stepped away. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. So I was there for a year and a half. Then I made the decision to leave because tuition was very expensive. And what I was adding up for the year and a half I was there was pretty high. So I decided to come back home at that point. So then actually I went to Indiana State University, and at that point, the coach had actually approached me about pitching at ISU. And I went out and pitched. And at that point, I think I realized I really was done because it just hurt so bad. I couldn't deal with it. So that's when I had surgery, finally, 2 years later. So I had surgery, I switched my major like 3 or 4 times over those 2 or 3 years between Trine and ISU because I just could never figure out what I wanted to be. I thought I wanted to be a teacher. I thought I wanted to be a cop at one point. I did exercise science for a little bit, and I don't even know what my goal was. I was just doing it because I liked sports. So basically, I was just spending all this time in college, taking all these different classes with no end goal because I was so lost after I stopped playing softball. I didn't know who I was because it was my entire life and my entire soul. So I was just so lost and making just all kinds of dumb choices. So I get all the way through my junior year at ISU, going through the surgery, and then I decide, you know what? I need a life change. And so I make another dumb decision and meet a boy again and make another stupid choice and move to Nashville, Tennessee. So that's at that point, I was like, I've wasted 3 years in college. I still don't know what I want to be or who I am. So I'm just going to go there and see what happens. So I go there. I wait tables for like a year, just kind of aimlessly moving about the world. And then I missed softball a lot. So that's when pitching lessons kind of came into view. I was like, maybe I can do some pitching lessons on the side until I can kind of figure out what I want to do. So I started doing pitching lessons, and then pitching lessons picked up a lot. And then they really picked up a lot. And it was to the point where I was making more money doing pitching lessons than I was waiting tables and doing other jobs in Tennessee. So
and probably enjoying it more.
Yes, I loved it. You know, I felt my passion come back. You know, how I was like so lost for those years and just kept making dumb life decisions because I didn't know who I was or what I wanted to be. And so that just reignited my passion. And then that's where the coaching really took off. But fast forward, so when all that was happening, that was 2010, 2011, 2012-ish. I just worked lessons and softball and travel and did all of those things forever. 2020 is when I finally decided to go back and finish my degree.
Oh, okay.
I contacted MTSU because they were pretty close to me at the time and heard a lot of good things about them. So I contacted them and I threw all of my transcripts at them and I said, what can I do? I have classes in every freaking major possible. So what is my choice? And they said, well, you're really close to a psych degree. How do you feel about that? And I was like, actually, I really, really like psych. I have a lot of interest in it. It's, learning about why you think and why you do the things you do is great. And I've had my own struggles with mental health. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. So I did a year of my psych and finally finished that degree like 8 years later. So I graduated in 2010, didn't get my bachelor's till 2020. So it took me a little while to get that 4-year degree.
Took the scenic route. That's all. Just took the scenic route.
Right. Just took the long way to get that degree. And then my mom was super upset, and it does kind of hurt my heart a little bit, but I got the degree in 2020 during COVID. So it took me forever, and she was so proud. I was a first-generation college graduate, and my graduation was standing up in MTSU's football stadium and waving. We didn't get across the stage or do anything, so I broke my mom's heart a little bit, but at least I finally graduated.
Yeah. Hey, listen, don't feel bad about that because there wasn't any COVID or anything when I graduated back in 19. And my experience was the same thing. We were in this giant auditorium and they said, okay, college, and this is at NIU, Northern Illinois University. And they said, okay, college of, Bachelor of Arts degrees, everybody stand up. And 300 of us stand up, waved to our parents, and then we sit back down. There was no crossing or anything. And I think my parents at that time, because they paid for my school, they were like, we spent all that money and this is what we get from it? Not even that moment?
Gina, they didn't even have TVs when he graduated.
I will say I am thankful to MTSU because they could have just not had a graduation, with everything that was going on. So at least we got to do something. They worked through a crazy time. But I will say I was super sad about it. But again, thankful to MTSU because I did get my moment finally. At least they called my name and I got to wave my hand. So I at least got my own individual moment. So that's
good. And I can imagine that in that stadium, there were probably like 500 people and you were all separated by 6 seats. So
yes,
spread all the way around.
Literally, we were spanned from like one side of the end zone all the way to the other side of the end zone, all spread out. And we had little things on the seat. And it was crazy. So
you did eventually get that psychology degree. Have you found that to be helpful for you when you're working with pitchers? I mean, we know that pitchers can be quite crazy.
Incredibly helpful. I absolutely love that I got a psychology degree in the end because it has helped me so much as a coach. It's helped me be a better coach. It's helped me help myself so that I can be a better person and be a better coach for my kids. Because it helps me kind of like really see why I do things or why the girls do things or maybe give me some thoughts and some insight. I use my psych degree every single day of my life and I never, ever regret that choice. If you're going to be a coach, I think you should have some training on the mental side of the game because that is so much more important than a lot of the physical sides. I mean, you can have this super talented athlete, but if they just mentally aren't there, they will never perform for you and they will never perform for themselves. So it's just getting better at that side of the game and being able to help your athletes and coach those types of things. I mean, perfect example, something we do at St. Mary of the Woods is we have a mental health check-in every single day. We have a little form. It takes them 2 minutes to fill out. It's just like a couple small questions about how their mental health is that day. And so, for example, if I would fill it out, 1, I have to put my name. 2, it asks you, how's your mental health today? And it'll have something like great. I think it's great. Fine. They insisted I put fine because they said fine just means I'm okay. Leave me alone. So fine. Yeah. And then there's not great. I need space. Not great. I need to talk to somebody. And if they click on that one, then it'll prompt them, who do you want to talk to? A teammate, a coach, a counselor, they have to write in who they want to talk to. Or I need help right now, emergency. So every single day they fill these out on their own phones before practice even starts. And then as they're starting their warm-ups, I read through all of these and make sure my girls are all okay. Number one, I have had 2 instances where I've had the emergency one used and I was able to help get them mental health care immediately, which was great. I've had many cases where the girls will say, I'm not great, but I need space. If they give me that response, then I usually give them a day or 2. If they keep giving me that response, I'm not so intense on them at practice those days. But if they keep giving me that same answer, eventually by day 3 or 4, I'm like, okay, we've got to talk. You can't keep telling me you need space. Okay. Like at some point we have to talk. So we do that. And then if they want to talk, of course, I sit and talk to them. I kind of just make it not very obvious. And I'm just like, hey, what's up? And kind of talk to them while they're warming up and kind of get a feel if they need to talk right now, or maybe it's an after practice type of thing. But I found it so helpful because those days where girls are having bad mental health days, if you have a coach just down your throat that day, you're not going to respond well. And so when they're in those days, not that I don't coach them, I still coach them. I'm just maybe a little lighter than,
a little more gentle.
Than the girls who are telling me I'm ready to go. Give me what you got, coach. I'm pushing those girls, but on the other girls, maybe not so much that day. And I think it's helped a lot because it kind of shows the girls that I respect where they're at in that moment. And it kind of allows them to be who they are that day. And it kind of lets me know they're maybe not at 100%. So it's been very, very helpful in helping build a better culture, I guess. So I can kind of work with them individually for that day.
Time, Blue.
Hey, Jay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think brush contact is for pitchers?
It's pretty high up there, Ken. Probably a 10 since it's hard to get maximum speed or accuracy without it.
Yeah, I agree. But have you ever had a student who struggled to get good, light brush contact?
Sure, all the time, in fact, especially when they've been taught hello elbow and are trying to throw around their hips, or they're sliding their hips out of the way doing that crazy ninja move.
So what do you do when you run into that situation? Keep railing on them until they get it right?
I used to do that a lot, but then I learned about a product called Pitch Squeak, Ken.
Pitch Squeak? What's that?
It's a cool little armband with a squeaker inside of it.
Like a dog toy?
Yeah, kinda.
So how does it work?
Well, you slip the armband onto the pitcher's forearm and you set it so the squeaker is where the brush contact should happen. Then, when the pitcher goes into release, she tries to get it to squeak, like this. If she makes it happen, she got brush. If there's no sound, she knows immediately and can make a correction.
Wow, cool. So she gets immediate audible as well as tactile feedback.
Oh, there you go again, showing off with those big and technical words again. But yeah, she can feel it and hear it.
Does it really work?
You bet it does. I use it with my students all the time, and it helps them learn how to get brush contact pretty quickly if they practice with it.
Sounds neat. Where can I get one?
Oh, it's easy, Ken. Just email support@pitchsqueak.com, and Jason, the inventor of it, and a Polygirl certified pitching coach himself, will ask you how many you want and send them right out.
I'll do that today. Thanks, Jay. What's that address again?
Oh, you bet, Ken. It's support@pitchsqueak.com. One more time for those of you who are listening, support@pitchsqueak.com. And don't forget to mention in the email that you heard about it right here on From the Coach's Mouth podcast, and you'll receive 10% off. Play ball.
Well, I know in marriage that fine never means fine. Have you
Right.
have you ever had that where somebody answered fine, but you're looking at him, you're going, you're not fine. You're more, I need help.
Right. And the good thing is I'm actually partnering with our counseling center. Shout out to them at St. Mary of the Woods because they're amazing. I'm actually getting ready to do a meeting with them. They don't know this yet, but I'm going to have a meeting with them within the next couple weeks. And I want to show them this, and I want to revamp it a little bit to where it's like more specific and upgrade it. But I think we have a good base model, but you're absolutely right. I keep track of what the responses are daily. And if I get fine over and over again, I'm like, all right, she's not really fine.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, Gina, that you're getting their responses. And like, if you have somebody that needs that space, you're giving them that space. You're not, on top of them the whole time. I think it's super important because I always feel like, I say this all the time, I feel like college coaches should spend 5 years in the classroom and then go coach a team because what walks into your practice or walks into your classroom, right? You have to learn how to meet people where they're at instead of where you're at, right? And everybody, yes, as we know, everybody learns different, everybody moves different, everybody has different things. And I think, being able to understand that not everybody can do the same thing everybody else can. And we have to learn how to meet each other or meet our players and meet our students at different places. As long as they get to the end result is the most important thing. But how you get there is different per person. And so like what you're saying there is like, I think it's awesome, because you're literally saying, okay, this person's not having a great day. I can't go over here and just be on top of them all over them today when they need a little space. Now I could be a little more delicate. We can still get to the final result, which is you come to practice, you work hard, you get better. And there's somebody else on the team who might not want that. And so learning what you're doing there is learning like what your players are asking from you kind of for that day. I think that's huge. That's great. I hope that coaches that are listening take something like that away from this, that it's not always about what you want. It's about how you can get to your players. And we have to learn how to do that differently.
And by no means am I perfect. And like I said, I'm trying to take it to our counseling center and make it better because I'm always looking to how I can improve my team and improve the environment and our culture. And mental health is really, really important to me. And I just don't think you're going to get what you want out of your players if you can't get eye level with them, and I've had some players go through some really, really hard things while they've been here, things that I didn't experience when I was their age or things that I've never experienced. And somehow these girls have come through and they've really, they've been amazing on the field. And sometimes I don't even know how they do it. And their schedules are crazy and they have bad home lives sometimes or have horrific things happen in their lives. And not that I want to know every single detail of it because, that's not my business to know everything about what's going on in their life. But I do want to be that person that is a supporter and maybe help them in those things, whatever level they want me to be that.
Yeah,
you can't force that. You can't force some of it. Like, I just want them to be comfortable enough with me that they know they could come to me. And I have been blessed and I do find it an honor when they do come to me when they need help. That's what I want my girls to do.
Absolutely.
That's great. I mean, just the whole idea that you're there for the person, not just the player, and that you'll recognize that. And you may be the best part of their day. Maybe coming to practice is the best part of their day at some point. And if you don't recognize what their needs are and you kind of push them or kind of squash down on them when they're already feeling squashed down, it can have a bigger effect than just they make an error in a game.
Absolutely. And like I said, I'm still working on myself. I'm not perfect. There's days that, we haven't been doing well for a week or so, and sometimes I can get negative. And actually, I had a player call me out about that last year, about being negative. And in the moment, I was mad. Like I was like, I'm always talking positive, blah, blah. I was super mad in the moment. But in hindsight, I was like, yeah, maybe I was being a little sassy, so sometimes, I'm not perfect by no means, but like I said, I'm always trying to make myself better as a coach because softball is a huge part of their life when they are a collegiate athlete. And my goal is I want them to love it when they leave. So if there's something that I can do to make them love it or help them maintain that love, I'm going to do everything in my power to try to make that a reality.
That's great. And you talk about that, just the different things that you're interested in. And you've pursued a lot of different paths. I mean, kinesiology, musculoskeletal massage. You have your polygirl certification, your training in motor preferences and all that. What drives you to continue to try to learn so much?
I am definitely a lifelong learner. I think we discussed earlier, I don't know what free time's like. So anytime I'm feeling like, hey, I could fit in something, let's do it. I don't know. I'm just a very driven person. I always want to get better. All I do is sit and think about my team and my pitchers and just what can I do to make them better? How can I do this? So I'm always thinking about what I could be better at. And I'm thinking about all avenues. I'm thinking about pitching. I'm thinking about, how can I improve the mental game on my team? I mean, it's constant. So anytime I think I'm lacking in an area, which I'm always thinking I'm lacking, I'm like, okay, let's go find something to make me better at this. So that's kind of how I've gotten involved in so many things. Like you said, right now I am going back for a second bachelor's degree in kinesiology at St. Mary of the Woods College. So I'll have one more year of that. Last year, I was in classes as well because one of my girls was in the musculoskeletal massage therapy program. And she asked me to come in as we call ourselves a body to get worked on. And she brought me in and I was intrigued. Charlie, my teacher, Charlie Peebles is amazing. If you want to know anything about massage therapy, please look that man up. His knowledge is next level. But I fell in love with the guy because he just was so interesting and he knew so much and he helped me with my Achilles pain. It was something that I'd had problems with for 7-8 years. And then for the first time in all that time, I had no pain. So I was like, okay, I want to learn what this guy knows. So I started that program last year. So I did a year of that, learned a ton. And now with my team, I can help all kinds of stuff with my players. But that wasn't enough. Charlie also had a certification that we could go to learn about scars. So I got a different certification in McLaughlin scar release. So anybody that has any type of scars that's 8 weeks or older, I go in and I can do some work on it. And it helps with mobility, pain. Sometimes you can get feeling back in numb areas. It does all kinds of really cool stuff. My grandma's arms were only coming up to about 45 degrees. And I was able to do a couple treatments on her and she can almost touch her hands above her head now. So It's really rewarding. I just have to do my licensure test and then I'm done with massage therapy. Like I said, a year of kinesiology, I'll be done with that. And then I'm already thinking ahead and thinking about doing the Ohio State Coaching Masters. So I'm already thinking about moving ahead with that. Polygirl was a no-brainer. Rick Pauly is amazing, and his knowledge is next level, and I wanted to know what he knew. And I feel like I'm never going to know what that man knows. So I'm
True
always
statement.
every time I listen to him talk, I learn something new, and I'm very honored to be mentored by him. And our group of coaches, it's just an amazing group. So I don't know. I'm just always interested in getting better. I'm getting ready to start a mental health certification for sports specifically. I'm getting ready to start that as well. I don't know. Anything I can find to get my hands on, I'm going to do it.
Wow, that's great. I want to change gears here a little bit. How did you end up back at St. Mary of the Woods coaching?
It's a great question. So my husband and I moved around a lot for his job. He was a traveling electrician. So after I met him in Tennessee, we actually went down to Florida for a while, Alabama. We kind of did all kinds of stuff. And
he wasn't the boy you followed to Tennessee, was he?
No.
Okay.
I finally found my husband, guys.
Okay.
So I finally found the right one. But when we were in Clarksville, Tennessee, I had just had my son. I mean, he was literally a month old. And again, that yearning for softball was coming back because I had stepped away for a little bit because I had a pretty high risk pregnancy and a lot of issues with it. So I didn't coach for a little while. And I really wanted to get back into it, but knew it wasn't something that I could do fully full time. So my brother at the time was working at St. Mary's. He was doing grounds and maintenance and those types of things there. And he told me that the head coach was looking for a pitching coach. And I was like, well, hey, how well do you know the guy? And he's like, well, I know him pretty well. And I said, okay, well, put a good word in for me. So he put a good word in for me, and he ended up calling me. We had like an hour phone call, and he decided to bring me on. And that was in December of that year. So they had already gone through half their year. So what the deal was is I was just going to write them weekly pitching stuff to do at practice. And then I was going to show up once or twice a week. So I drove from Clarksville, Tennessee to Indiana, which is about a 3.5 hour, maybe 4 hour drive twice a week. And
Wow.
my mom lives 10 minutes from the school. So I'd go stay the night with her. She'd watch my son. I'd go coach, and then I would go home. And it was great. I got to know the girls. I got to be involved with the program. And if you knew me from before, you would hear me talk about how I never wanted to be in college, because I liked working with the girls and getting them to college. I wanted to help them chase their dream and get there. But then when I worked in college, I was like, oh, never mind. Maybe this is what I really, really like. So I loved it. Well, the coach ended up leaving after that season, and they were looking for a head coach. And at the time, my husband had transitioned to a remote job, so we could really do whatever we wanted to do at that point. So I talked to my mom and talked to my dad, because they're my babysitters. And I was like, hey, if I apply for this job, would you help me out? And they're like, yeah, of course. So I applied, and I didn't think I'd get it, to be 100% transparent, because I didn't have a lot of college experience at the time. But they gave me a shot. Kevin Lanke hired me, and I'm forever grateful for that. And here we are, getting ready to go into year 3. So that's how it happened.
Awesome. So I want to ask you a question, because now I looked, and a couple of things I got to ask you about. One, I see that your husband is on staff. And then 2, what's up with the llama? Is that a llama? You guys got a llama on staff?
So, yes. Well, let's
talk about your husband. Yeah. Talk about your husband first, not the llama. Let's see.
Yes, we'll talk about the husband first. So my husband does not coach softball. He doesn't know the first thing about softball, but he's a numbers guy, and he can take data like no other and make it into something that means stuff to us. So
nice.
He comes to practices, and he tracks different things that the girls do. He and I sit down and we scout other teams, and we kind of look at tendencies and do those types of things. And he gives us full reports on stuff before we do games. So he does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, and it's extremely helpful. Then we actually have an alpaca.
Sorry.
And
I am mistaken.
His name is Andre. So how that came to be is so if you don't know, St. Mary of the Woods College is partnered with the Sisters of Providence. So we share the same campus, basically. Like, they have one side and we have a different side, but we kind of work together. So it's kind of a very interesting setup. But one of the things they have is they have a bunch of alpacas, and they have a little store, and they do things with their coats, like when they shave them and stuff. So I don't know. They do a lot of stuff with the alpacas. And I found out that we have an Adopt an Alpaca program, and it helps them take care of the alpacas and do the stuff that they do. So we decided this year we were going to adopt one. And we did a team vote, and the top 4 alpacas were put up for a public vote. And Andre came on top as the winner. So we paid our $100, and now Andre is our alpaca for the year. So the cool thing is the school, or the sisters, take care of Andre. We can go visit him. We're even going to have Andre come out to a couple home games. So if you're into that, come visit us. And he's just going to be, I think we have him listed as the emotional support coach.
Yep.
So he's really cool. I actually met him in person yesterday for the first time, and he's super fun, super chill alpaca. So we're pretty excited to have him.
That's pretty fun. I mean, how many schools have an emotional support alpaca?
I know, right? Our school is very unique in the fact that we have alpacas, chickens, and tons of horses. So we have all kinds of livestock on campus. Our campus is beautiful. So I wanted to take advantage of a cool program that we had here and maybe help the sisters get the program more out there so they can get the support they need to have success with the program. So we're excited.
That's great. So looking at it from the perspective of, say, a prospective student athlete, what makes St. Mary of the Woods College such a great place to be? I mean, obviously, you must like it because you kept going back there.
Yes.
And other than it being close to your mom and dad's house.
Yeah, St. Mary's has been in my backyard my entire life. It's funny, the theme that St. Mary's has followed me around. I grew up 2 minutes from St. Mary's. My house was right down the road, so I always knew about it. My mom actually took some classes there. She didn't graduate, which I'm trying to get her to go back and finish. I'm trying to get her to get the confidence to do it. But my brother worked there for, I think, 10 years. My grandmother worked there. Like, my whole family, my stepdad, he worked there. We've always been involved. And even when I was 16 years old, I worked in the food service and I worked weddings and stuff there. So long history of St. Mary's. I played there and now I'm back to coach. But the campus, you can't explain it until you've been there. And if you've been on St. Mary's campus, you're going to understand exactly what I'm saying. But when you step on, there's just a feeling. They call it the Avenue moment. It's right in the middle of the campus, and it's just a warm, comfy, like safe feeling. And the campus is beautiful. All of our architecture is 100+ years old, at least not all of it, the majority. It's beautiful. It's a very calm, safe, just nice feeling campus. I just can't explain it. And you're going to know what I'm talking about if you go there. It has a long history. It was an all girls school for many, many, many years. We've only had boys now for, I think, 7 or 8 years, maybe. I may have misspoke there, but so we're expanding and growing the school. St. Mary's, everybody knows everybody. Some people love that. Some people don't. But I think it's great to have that camaraderie. The teachers are fantastic. Everybody supports each other. You truly feel supported there no matter what you're doing. It's just a really, it's just a good feeling school. Everybody just is there for the right reasons. They're there because they love the college. They want to see the students succeed. They want to see the college succeed and continue on its legacy. It's just a really, really nice feeling, good college, and you get an excellent education. We're known all over the country for our degrees, and people even overseas know us by our rings. We have this special ring ceremony, and we all have unique rings when you graduate there. So, if you see a Woodsy ring, everybody knows where you went to school, and it's a prestigious thing. So
Gina, I want to ask you real quick here too, because being in NAIA too, I want to know what do you find special about NAIA versus some of the other divisions?
I love NAIAJ. So NAIA is great because, in my opinion, at least from my side of coaching, school is a high priority. And so our girls and their degrees and what they want to do in their future is number one. So I like that. That's not necessarily always the case in other schools or other divisions at times. So that's a huge priority. I love the NAIA too, because we have a little bit more freedom when it comes to like recruiting, and, I can coach on the side still and do pitching lessons and stuff. And there's not like, oh, they have to be a certain age or anything like that. It's kind of nice that I can be involved with the community from any age. I like that recruiting rules are not so insane. We're getting ready to have kids camps and stuff like that. And it's not like I have to stand there and be like, oh, you're not this age, I can't talk to you. So it's just different. The competition level is really high at the NAI level. I feel like we get underestimated a lot, and we kind of get plunked to the bottom, like we're not very good, and that's why we're not in a NCAA division. But NAIA is really, really competitive. And my players, for example, and Jay probably has the same thing with his school, we have high academic kids. So they're really, really good softball players that probably could play D2, D1, and may have already played D1, D2, but this allows them to do their degree and play softball. So it's a really good level to come in if you want to be a nurse, or if you want to do biology, or some of these higher level engineering, higher level academics, and you still get to play the sport that you love and be supported on the softball side and the school side.
Since you guys are both NAIA and not that far apart, have you played each other before?
Yes.
We have.
Actually, I've been to your campus. Your campus it's gorgeous. Like you don't really see it till, again, you get in there and then you're like, whoa, like the architecture and all that stuff of those old buildings is super beautiful. So it's very calming place. Like it's there, it's in the woods, like the school says. Right. And then you pull on campus and you see all these wonderful buildings and stuff. We had to pull all the way around to get back to the field and all that good stuff. So yeah, we have played each other.
Yes. And St. Xavier is a phenomenal program. Their field is, I would kill for their field, by the way. And actually their campus is really unique and cool too. Our girls are really jealous of the Starbucks that was on campus, the legit Starbucks.
That's valid. Valid. That's how we recruit all those kids, man. We just sell this. Well, we got Starbucks on campus. No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah, both campuses are beautiful. So, I mean, it's, I think that's a thing. Like a lot of the NAIA schools are a little bit smaller, right? They're not super huge, big, but you pull onto these campuses and they're kind of hidden and you're in there and you're like, wow, I didn't know this existed back here. And it's like, yeah, it's, once you get back there, you see what's going on. And then it's kind of, the school kind of sells itself.
Yes. And that's honestly one of the great things about St. Mary of the Woods as well, is that the school is small. I mean, I know now because I'm a student there and I actually physically go to class. So, I mean, a lot of our classes, we only have 10 to 20 kids in it. And it's really nice. I mean, the teachers know you. They know you by name. They have you for multiple classes at times. They actually invest in you. Every single student has a mentor teacher, and you talk to them about what your goals are. They even meet with me. They're like, we know you're the coach, but like, is this the end of the road? Or are you they're always looking to try to make you better and truly help you with connections and networking and whatever. I mean, they're amazing, and you will leave St. Mary of the Woods College with a job as long as you work hard and do what they suggest you do. It's one of the best things. I mean, I went to a huge college, right? I went to MTSU to finish my degree. So I saw the side of MTSU and I saw the side of St. Mary of the Woods. Both sizes have amazing aspects about them, but I will say I love the smaller side because you do get the personal attention that you don't get at the bigger schools.
Mm-hmm. For sure. All right. I want to, again, change gears a little bit. We had talked before, and we promised that we would get into this a little bit more, just with pitching mechanics. And, we're both, Jay and I, are curious is, do you teach what you were taught? And if not, why not?
Oh, what a touchy subject. No, I do not teach what I was taught. I'm very thankful to the people who did teach me, but I don't teach the way they do or did. I was taught originally, my very first coach was Hello Elbow. And she learned from a very prominent coach in Illinois. So that was the big thing. I didn't even know what Hello Elbow or internal rotation was. That wasn't a thing that was discussed at that time. But I learned that. And then a little bit later, I actually had a pitching coach for a short amount of time that I didn't know at the time, but was teaching internal rotation. And I went to him for a couple months, and then sadly he moved. So then I went to another coach that kind of taught like a semi-mixture of internal rotation and Hello Elbow.
Hybrid. There's Ken's hybrid.
Yeah.
Hybrid.
Yeah, mainly Hello Elbow. And then that's when I started learning movement pitches and that type of thing. I would say I learned all of the super exaggerated body English types of things. I had never learned about what spin direction, spin axis, RPMs. I didn't know what any of that was. Like I just knew if I threw a curveball, it meant I stepped across a power line and snapped my hand with my fingers up across my waist. That's my definition of curveball at that point in my life. So that's what I learned. I had the big hitchhiker's thumb screwball. I mean, all of the stuff, the gun in the air for the rise ball. Yeah.
Jay's favorite.
So I learned all of those things. I learned the drop ball where I think they call it a peel drop, where you come through and you rip your hand up real hard, real fast.
Oh man, I hate that one. Yeah. Like you're starting a lawnmower.
Yes, to start the lawnmower drop. Yeah, I learned that one. And then sadly, I was told, so I averaged somewhere between 67 and 69. So I had a little bit higher velocity, but I was told that because I threw hard, I didn't need to have to throw a changeup. So when I didn't really have a changeup that was good. Like I couldn't rely on it ever. Other teams who played us knew that, but it was just trying to combat my speed at that point and my rise ball, but no changeup. And looking back at that as a coach, I think that's craziness, but that's what I was told. So now I teach completely differently from what I learned. Again, being a part of our pitching group and learning from Rick and motor preferences and all these things, it has taught me so much. And yeah, it is nothing like what I was taught.
I want to ask you, Gina, do you feel that because you were taught all of those exaggerated body English, yank your shoulder up and over the drop ball or shoot the gun up in the air for your rise ball, do you feel that any of that attributed to some of your shoulder problems?
1,000%. So I would say the biggest things that probably, I don't even know if there is a biggest thing, because I threw a lot of rise balls and I had a lot of exaggerated body movement on that. I think that lawnmower pull for the drop ball was horrific for my shoulder. The screwball, I threw a lot of screwball and that really exaggerated pull out on the shoulder. I remember that hurting when I threw it, and I still did it. So I definitely think that it was a huge factor. And I often think, like, if I was lucky enough to have a coach like Rick or any of you guys, you two, or any of the people that really know their stuff and really have educated themselves, please continue. Well, it's the truth. And you guys are, in my book, one of the best. You two are some of the best pitching coaches in the country. And you earned that. You've worked hard to earn that title, so own it. But anyway, I would say I just wonder what I could have been, because if I would have had coaches that taught me the right mechanics, that maybe stepped in and said, hey, this is way too many innings. Hey, maybe we need to do some shoulder care. I've never done shoulder care in my life. Like, I never had any type of shoulder plan. I just threw pitches. So if I would have had that, the sky would have been the limit, so I think about that way too much, I think.
So I want to ask you here too, then, since, you're out, you've been on the recruiting trail all summer, you're having your camps and stuff like that. Have you ever recruited a pitcher who uses mechanics that are different from the ones that you teach? And then if so, how does that work for you?
Well, this is going to be going into year 3 for me, but this is the first year that I have a full class that's mine that's coming in. The first year I got the job a week before, so it really wasn't any recruiting. And then the second year, I was still trying to figure out my life, so I didn't have too many recruits. So this is the first year that is fully my class, and I am bringing in a ton of pitchers because that has been the area we've been struggling by not having much pitching. Just in numbers in general, we've not had very many pitchers. But I would say every single pitcher on my staff coming in does something that is not what I teach. And I'm not the type of coach that's like, hey, I'm going to force you to do what I tell you to do, but I'm going to give you a suggestion of what I think you should try. This is why I suggest you do it. And I always ask the girls just to be open-minded and give it a shot. I just want you to try it. And if it works for you and it feels great and you're confident with it, let's do it. And I find that when I do that approach, it works well. And I think I find pitchers that are mentally tough on the mound, that have overall pretty good base mechanics. But the main thing is I find pitchers that are coachable and that are willing to maybe take some of those suggestions, because I don't think I'm going to find a pitcher very often that's going to be exactly on line with everything that I do and everything that I teach. So I think it's kind of unrealistic to look at it that way. I look at more of like, can I bring this kid in and can I make suggestions, and are they actually going to try what I suggest? Yeah. And if they can do that, I am happy.
Yeah, I think that's a part of it as a coach too, right? They don't necessarily have to fit everything that you're doing, right? I feel like, to me, like, that's boring if they do. Then what are you working on? You know what I mean? Then you're just sitting at practice, like, I just go through a bullpen, right? For me, I'm like, listen, no, this isn't what I would want for this kid. However, what is she going to look like if we make some adjustments here over the next 2-3 years, right? And then we can look back at that. And I have a junior this year who I got as a freshman is like, wow, was taught all the things that you're talking about there, like clear the hips, get the hips out of the way, yank your arm. And here we are junior year. And she's like, we had this conversation at the end of this year when we won the conference championship. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm like, do you remember what you look like as a freshman? She's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, that's the win for me as a coach. It's not necessarily the wins and losses. It's like, bro, you've come so far over these last 3 years and you've been a huge help in this program winning games. So I think it's not about the fact that they have to look like everything that we want it to look like. I mean, right. It's are they willing to be coachable and make adjustments throughout this whole process? And I think, like you said, it starts in a circle. They have the mentality, then and they're coachable, then the rest is easy for us.
100%. And, everybody talks about being coachable all the time, but truly finding really coachable kids is hard. I'm just going to be really honest. It is really hard to tell a kid who made it to college. Like, obviously you're good. You made it to our level. What you've been doing worked, obviously. But you have to find kids that can swallow that and be able to also admit that you have 4 more years of growth.
Yes.
So you can be way better if you can just be coachable, like truly coachable. And I have one kid that has been there for the 3 years that I've been involved with the program. And let me tell you, that kid looks nothing like she looked like 3 years ago. And she came into the program with a blown out ACL. And she had a lot of offers, but then lost them all because she tore her ACL before she got to college. And there's some motor preferences stuff that we adjusted. And now this kid looks completely different. I mean, she's throwing harder. She has movement on her pitches. It's good. And it's nice to have, I've now been there long enough to where she can talk to these incoming freshmen. My staff this year is almost entirely freshmen for pitchers. She's going to be able to go like, hey, just buy in. She really does care. She cares. She wants to do what's best for you. And so I have a little bit of that history now that'll be helpful. And hopefully these freshmen coming in will buy into our process. And I think they really will. They've been excited about coming in because I think, Jay, your program is one of the exceptions in the NAIA that they have a good, knowledgeable pitching coach on staff. There's not a lot of NAIAs or in general teams that have a lot of pitching coaches. So that was a pull for our program, at least, is like, and for yours, I'm sure, to have somebody that can actually help them, because a lot of times they show up to a program and they get no real instruction for the 4 years they're there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we hear enough about even pitchers at the D1 level. They go in there and they lose speed, they lose movement, their metrics go down. And you wonder, what are they doing every day in bullpens that these kids are getting worse?
Yeah, it can be interesting. I think it just depends like what kind of coaching they're getting there. I mean, either they're not getting any coaching because they don't have anybody on staff, or maybe they have a coach, but maybe they're teaching more of the hello elbow, or they're teaching something different, or maybe they know what they're talking about and they're really legit, but maybe they're over pitching them or not taking care of their shoulder health. Yeah. So there's a lot of aspects that could be happening as to why they're maybe struggling or not improving, or maybe even like I've seen it myself, the things go down, when I used to coach lessons more than I do now. I would see that. I would send them off and they'd come back and, oh no, now they're down 4 miles an hour and their shoulder hurts and their drop ball doesn't work. So what's going on?
I think a lot of times too, Gina, and chime in here, please. I think a lot of times they coach them all the same way.
Yes. Oh yeah. 100%.
Pitcher A can't do what pitcher B does. Pitcher B can't do what pitcher C does, right? Like you're going to give them all the same drills. Honestly, you're ruining some of them. And I think that's what I was talking about. Like you have to meet people where they're at. This kid might be a better rise ball pitcher, right? So she needs these kinds of movements. And this kid might be a better down ball pitcher. Now, and I think that's it. Like they get so regimented in this box. Well, this is what I did, so this has got to work for everybody. It's just not the case anymore. And I think that's what it is, right? Your goal is, as a pitching coach, to make everybody better, not just your number 1 and 2.
Yes, for sure. And I mean, if we're really looking at the elite teams at any level, they have a staff, and that staff is very unique, and they all have their unique abilities that complement each other. So, if you're doing it right, you should be scouting these teams and you're like, oh man, this team cannot hit drop ball. Like they just can't. So, okay, well then your drop ball pitcher is the one maybe you want to throw in there. Now your rise ball pitcher may be the quote unquote ace, but they're not going to be ace for that team. If you look at who you're facing and they have different strengths and different weaknesses. Like if you look across my pitching staff, I have girls that can move it, east and west really well. I have some that can move it north, south really well. I have some that can change their speeds. They have 3-4 different speeds. I have girls that are just slower, but guess what? They really complement our faster pitchers. So you can't look at it and just write it all on one girl. If you're really trying to make it deep, we play 50 games a year or a season. You have to have pitchers that complement each other and keep your pitchers healthy by not pitching 5,000 innings so that you can make it onto where you want to make it.
Well, and I think too that if you have all your pitchers, if you try to get them all to be the same and to perform the same way, you really only have one pitcher with 3 or 4 heads on them. You're not going. If that first pitcher's getting a hit, bringing in somebody that looks exactly like her isn't exactly making a change. But if you can say, okay, well, this isn't working, but I've got another flavor to throw into this, that may work a lot better. And it's amazing to me sometimes when you say it, even at the travel ball level, sometimes the kid that you wouldn't expect to be the one that goes out there and shuts everything down is the one that does it simply because she's doing things that team is not used to seeing.
Agreed, 100%. I mean, that was something. So again, me being involved in 1,000 different things that I can get my hands in, I went to the NFCA's course, and one of them was we got to go visit 3 of the pro teams. It was the Blaze, the Bandits, and the Spark. And we went up to Chicago, Rosemont area for 2 days, and we just got to learn a whole bunch of stuff from the pro coaches and players and everybody involved with AUSL. And it was an amazing experience. And they talked about how they do pitching rotation. And they talked about, they scout the teams. This is what this hitter does well. This is what this hitter can hit. And for example, they may not pitch Carlin Pickens against, somebody because this batter who's legit, like, see, I've got the Cascade shirt on right now. I've got one for each team, but say Megan Grant comes up and she's got Carlin's number. They know that, and they're going to pull her and they're going to put somebody else in that maybe Megan Grant's, struggles with. So they have things down to analytics and specific numbers, which I'll never have at my level, but it's really cool that what they do and how they do it, because this game has become very analytics driven, and it's unique how they work their pitching staff because they literally have the best pitchers in the world all on the same, 6 teams. So, I mean, when they are utilizing unique pitchers that have different abilities and different aspects to their motions and whatever it is about them that makes them special, if they're doing it, why wouldn't we be doing it? That's what the best in the world are doing.
If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us.
Right.
Well, I can't believe it's been an hour, actually a little bit more than an hour already. We told you it would be an hour, but I still have one more big question to ask you. And that's, what are some of the things that high school age pitchers can do to make themselves more attractive to college programs like yours?
Well, that's a great question. I would say the things that make you attractive as a pitcher is, one, how you present yourself on and off the field is number one for me. I want respectable and respectful players that represent our college, because it's not just you're representing me, the college, yourself, your family. That's a big ordeal and that's a big thing. So I'm recruiting good people is number one. So I have marked people off my list multiple times for social media. So that would be my number one. Watch what you post there. I actually had a recruit that I really, really wanted, and then she posted something bashing her high school coach. Ooh. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. Like, she's going to bash this guy on social media. She's going to bash me one day. So not interested. So that's number one, good people. Number two, of course, we're looking for a certain level that's going to match our competitiveness, right? You have to hit a certain speed, which I don't have a number where I'm like, oh, you have to hit 60. It's not that, but you have to be at a certain level where you can locate. I would like to see 3 pitches that you can command well and that you can change speeds. If you can do that, I am very excited. You don't have to have 5, 6, 7, 8 pitches because you don't have 5, 6, 7, 8 pitches for the most part.
Yeah.
Not that actually work and that actually break. So if you can command 3 very well, that will make you stand out. I also watch how you are as a teammate. So I can tell when you're being fake and you're really nice to me and you're really nice on the field when I'm watching you. But like, for example, if I go to a recruiting event and say, I go watch you play and I talk to you or whatever, and you think that our interaction is done, that may not be the case. I could be pretending like I'm going to watch this other game, or maybe I am watching this other game, but you're over here on this field playing. I'm going to pay attention to you when you think I'm not watching you, because if you're sassy with your teammates or you're sassy with your parents or your coach or any of that, that's it for me. So I really pay attention to how you handle yourself. I would say the other things that's attractive to me is that you're I think it's helpful if you're a multi-sport athlete, because you're just more athletic, you're stronger, you're involved with things, you're just more athletic overall, but that's not a requirement, but it's great. Honestly, those are probably the big things. And if you notice, it's more about you as a person than it is your ability. Of course, your ability has to be a certain level. Again, I'm not discounting that or discrediting that, but I'm trying to build a certain culture here at St. Mary's. So I'm looking for the right fits and the right people and coachability and respectful, kind, driven, those types of things. Those are my number one things. It's not even athletic ability.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the movie Miracle, where Herb Brooks says, I'm not looking for the best players, I'm looking for the right players.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Gina, I'm sorry, just one more question for me, if you don't mind, because you're in the NAIA and you can still do pitching lessons. If there's somebody in your area down there that's looking for some great instruction, where could somebody get a hold of you for some of that pitching instruction?
Yeah, so I have my own website. It's www.furreyfastpitch.com. And that's spelled Furrey. They could email me at the college so you can look us up on St. Mary's athletic page. You can email me there. My cell phone number is plastered everywhere. I have a Facebook page. So if you look up Furrey Fast Pitch, you will find 1,000 things to be able to contact me, and I would be happy to. I do stuff all the time. I do one-on-ones. I do this thing called open bullpens, where it's just kind of group rotations, and we kind of work through pitching specific drills and conditioning and those types of things. And then even the other day, I did a camp with a middle and high school. So I do all kinds of stuff. I'm open to all kinds of instruction. If you come with me with an idea, we'll make it happen.
Awesome. And then what about somebody that might have heard this now and be interested in coming to play for you at St. Mary's? How do they get a hold of you then?
So I would say emails are great, but this is something I do want to throw out there. Every coach is very different and they have their own preferences. But for me, coming to camps, or we have these things called play days where your travel ball team can come and they play other travel ball teams and we scout all day long. Those are big for us because it allows me to see you in person and see what you're doing and see who you are as a person. I do scout in the summers, but I'm going to be really honest. Like last summer, I had an Achilles surgery, so I was out for most of the summer, so I didn't get to see a lot of games. This summer, unfortunately, my stepfather had lung cancer, unfortunately passed, so I wasn't out very much this summer. So I've missed a couple summers of recruiting out games. And so I personally love camps and those types of things. We try to keep our camps cheap so that girls can get out there and meet us and see us in person. But that's what I like to do. That's the best way to get on my radar, to be 100% honest. You can email me, but I get a lot of emails, and I don't know about you, Jay, but they get really overwhelming at times. And when I open up my email and I see 200 emails, I'm like, oh, okay. So unless your email really, really, really stands out because it's really unique, it just depends where I'm at that day mentally and whether you're the second email or the 181st email. So I would say, of course, email, but I would say get into camps, doing those things. And don't get disheartened if you email me the first time and I don't email you back. I really, really do try to email most everybody back. But again, sometimes it can get very overwhelming. So don't get disheartened. Keep emailing me if St. Mary's is a really good choice for you.
Do you have an online form too that people can fill out?
We do. We have a recruitment questionnaire that's on our softball page for St. Mary of the Woods College. You can fill that out and it will send me all your information about you. And then that will allow me to also maybe start looking at some of your socials. I do follow people's X's and YouTubes and whatever they send me. So I try to be as engaged as I can. Video is huge. Please, like the amount of recruits that I ask for video and they don't have video or they don't have quality video. And I don't mean like you're spending money to have like super high quality, just video where I can actually see what you're doing.
Not a game changer video from way back. You're an outfielder and this is from behind the catcher looking out on the entire field and somebody's like about 3 pixels high.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Outfielders are so hard to recruit. I'm going to be so honest because a lot of times their video is so hard and it's not their fault. It's really hard to get outfield video from game view at least, but I need to be able to see your footwork and your, how you throw. And I need to see some of these things. So like when you're thinking about putting videos up, they don't have to be long and please actually keep them short because it's true when we have short attention spans, like we have to watch so much. We don't want to sit and watch a huge intro and super long breaks between stuff. We don't want to see that. So just give us something that's really, really short and to the point and where we can see mechanics and stuff that you're doing.
Okay, great. All right, last question. You told us about all the different things that you did when you were in high school and I guess college and all of that. Mm-hmm. Any other hidden talents, something that your players would be surprised to find out about you?
Well, I don't think that they knew that I played violin. I will say, I don't know if there's a whole lot my players don't know about me. So we're a very open team and we talk a lot. And I use my own personal life as things to do well. There's probably a small list. Things to not do, there's probably a long list. So I feel like they probably know a lot, but that's probably the one thing they don't know is that I played violin growing up.
If somebody handed you a violin today, would you still be able to play it?
Give me 5 minutes. Okay. If I got reoriented, I might be able to play a little ditty for you or something. So
nice. All right. Awesome. Well, Gina, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. This has been a great conversation.
Yes, I've had a lot of fun, and I hope that we get to talk again sometime soon. And I'm up to talking softball with anybody. So if you liked me spewing for the last hour and 20 minutes, I'd love to chat softball. Just don't be afraid to contact me anytime.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you. That's it for us this week. Thanks to all of you for listening and the kind words you've been sharing with us. If you like what you're hearing, please remember to give us a like, leave us a comment, and share this podcast on your social media channels. Make sure you never miss an episode by following us on your favorite podcast platform. And if you're so inclined, you can also leave us a great review on Apple Podcasts to help more people find us. On behalf of the From the Coach's Mouth podcast, have a great rest of your week and weekend.